Hi, this is Ted Rogers on History by the Plate. My wife and I were lucky enough to be able to buy this authentic World War I era poster put out by the British government during World War I last time we were in London. Now, yes, of course it was relevant for World War I on the issues of food, but it hasn't lost any of its relevance today. Think on this. 13.5% of the children in the United States today go to bed hungry. 20% of the households in this country are households that are what are called food questionable. That is, they don't know if they will have 3 square meals every day. And combine that then with the issue of the average middle-class American household in this country wasting over $2,200 per household of food every year. Well, this is still an issue. And so what we're going to be looking at periodically are issues of how do we save the food that we have? How do we avoid wasting food? And that's what we're going to look at today. So I hope you enjoy this segment on History by the Plate. Tonight we're making one of my favorite meals, and I probably say that every time I'm getting ready to make a meal because, hey, I like to cook and I like to eat. We're making tonight some chicken cordon bleu with a side of fresh asparagus. I love fresh asparagus. It is so good for you, so healthy. But the problem is, when you buy fresh asparagus, you're buying it typically in a big bulk like this. And when you have 2 people that you're making food for, well, you're not going to eat all of that asparagus at one sitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically cull out here about 4 pieces per person. And that's going to be for my wife and I tonight. But what do you do then? I don't know. I'm hungry, so let's make that 5 pieces per person. But what do you do with the rest of this? Because you can just grab the bag and throw it back in there and put it back into the crisper of no return, where it's very prone to develop, literally in just 3 or 4 days, to develop slime mold, which is not appetizing to even think of. And within 5 days tops, this will be bad. So what do you do? How do you preserve it? There's a simple, easy way. Take it, bunch up the ends so that they're pretty level there. Take a sharp knife and just cut about a 1/4 inch off of the bottom. Shove those aside there. And then take what every one of us has, is either a glass or I'm using a mason jar, and put your asparagus into the mason jar, standing up so that each of the pieces is in the water, and then put this in your refrigerator. By storing the asparagus this way, you'll be able to keep this asparagus good and fresh and without slime mold for a good, solid 2 weeks. So, that helps prevent the loss, the waste of food. And how this works, too, is when you look at the asparagus, think of a flower. And this is actually the flower of the asparagus. So this is kind of like when you bring home a bunch of flowers, the first thing you do is cut the ends off because they've kind of sealed up, and then put them in water. That's the exact same idea here. And so these will keep perfectly fresh for a good solid 2 weeks. And that minimizes waste and gives you opportunities to think of other recipes that you want to use the asparagus with. So, this is Ted Rogers on History by the Plate. I hope this has been helpful. Have a great day.